former White Sox. I believe he was on the Braves. Interesting player because he's played a lot of different roles. And I know you kind of dug in on him a lot. Rumored discussion. I don't think we've seen the Cubs confirm this. I don't know that they necessarily will. The idea seems to be that he was not added with the intention of being a every fifth day starting pitcher. Maybe he would start some games, but not plan to go super long. But the intention was looking at him as more of a long man, someone probably coming out of the bullpen. And as Christian A says, a lot of that is due to a slurve that has one of the highest whiff rates in baseball. So talk to us about Mike Soroka, Brendan.
If you don't know who Mike Soroka is, you're going to go to his baseball reference page. But if you're a better fan, you go to Fangraphs.
I was going to say we're a Fangraphs family.
I was leading up to it over there, Corey. And you're going to notice he has a 4.87 ERA. And you're thinking, this is the guy Jed Hoyer targeted? And by the way, you're thinking, wait a second. Like, they keep getting these White Sox pitchers from 2024. Brad Keller, Chris Flexen, Mike Soroka. We're trying to win the World Series with these guys, right? That's going to be the first impression many fans have. Then you start peeling back the layers and you try to understand, okay, what is going on here? Because it has to be better than a 4.87 ERA. You can look at FIP. He has a 4.1 FIP, just taking in strikeouts, walks, home runs. Also not particularly encouraging either. And then you look at his recent trends, and it also inspires some concern. Recently, if we look at his fastball velocity, he was sitting around 93 to 95 for most of 2024 and most of 2025 and the last part of 2024. And then gradually, since the All-Star break, that velocity is just nosedived, where most of his pitches are thrown between 91 and 92 miles per hour. We're talking about a 3 mile per hour drop all of a sudden. And so Jed Hoyer's talking about how he targeted Soroka, even dating back to the offseason. And you can tell this is someone who they really like, but there's a lot of weird factors at play. Number one is, can you rely on him producing and preventing runs? Number two is, what's going on with this velocity dip? We had talked a lot about Shota's velocity problem in his start against the White Sox. That did improve, by the way. Everyone was freaking out about the velocity, but that was one start. This has been 3 consecutive starts for Soroka. And I don't mean to sound negative about Soroka, because it's not a negative discussion here, but it's something to point out. The Cubs feel as if that velocity dip is nothing to be concerned about. And the slurve is absolutely one of the better pitches. That slurve is also a relatively newer pitch type, where last year he threw a slider as his most dominant pitch type. Well, now he's throwing it about 3 miles per hour slower. So the question is, you have this unique pitch type. You can use it against lefties because it has more of a dropping action. You can use it against righties because it also has some dropping action. And he's using that, once every 3 pitches. The Cubs see something that can pair with that slurve, or they see something that they can tweak sequencing wise to bring down that ERA, to bring up the strikeouts, to maybe keep the walks at bay and limit the home runs. And should that happen, everything starts to normalize and look exactly what the front office imagined when they traded for him and even sought him out in the offseason. That's the plan. But if you want to talk about confidence and trying to be like absolutely certain, I don't know what to tell you about the velocity. I mean, you have a 3 consecutive starts profile of him throwing 3 miles per hour slower. That's an extreme thing. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they use him, how they, use his arsenal. Certainly it wouldn't be surprising to see them bring a guy like this over and, I don't necessarily know that they would add pitches, but just play around with his arsenal, his repertoire. And he certainly represents the type of guy that you can easily see them using in a different role rather than relying on him to go deep in starts every day. First time through the order, even just as a starter this year, 37 innings, 2.92 ERA, 195 average against. Then the second time through the order, that jumps to 409 ERA, 218 average against. Third time through the order, he's only done it in 11 innings, but the ERA balloons to 13.5 and a 319 batting average. So pretty clear what he's doing right now is not what you're looking at to be a starter going deep into games. But the result he's getting in shorter bursts, clearly with the slurve as you've identified. And, hopefully, maybe the velo thing, I've read a little bit that maybe that's just a mechanical thing that hopefully they can adjust and get back there, especially if he was, pitching in max effort.